Work is weird because it's a place where our performance is constantly being reviewed, actively reviewed by our peers, right? We're literally sat down and told whether we're good enough or not. Now, if any friends did that to us, we'd think they were sociopathic, but it's completely normal at work. Now, to manage this kind of odd experience of being judged all the time, we develop these professional identities that we're really invested in. So that means we're always working hard to be seen as competent, reliable, good at our jobs. Because when we get the feedback that that's true, we feel a lot safer, we feel like we belong. And when we don't get that, well, we actually know that having people sort of think we're bad at our jobs is a tremendous source of stress and angst for a vast amount of people. Now, what this means is that if as a professional we don't know something that we think we should, it can suddenly feel quite scary. It threatens that professional status because we fear that we're going to look incompetent. So instead of saying, I don't know, very often we'll say, well, internally we'll say, I'll work it out, or we'll pretend to know, right? And sometimes this is fine because we can stumble into something that works, we get the job done, and that's great. But sometimes that's not the case. And what that means is we're acting with incomplete information and we're more likely to make mistakes. Now, this is really, really problematic because we need to do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen, to minimize those mistakes. But given the difficulty we feel in sometimes saying, I don't know, we all have a responsibility to actively invite people not to know. Now, to do this, don't ask, do you get it? Do you understand? Because as we all want to be seen as these sort of professional geniuses that actually we're probably not, our instinct is to say yes. Also, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So what you have to do is you have to invite people, you have to ask a leading question, right? So when you've explained something, saying something like, which bits of that were unclear? Or which bits of that made the least sense? You're inviting that curiosity, inviting that questioning, and that means you're much more likely to grab those knowledge gaps early. Now, this is much more fruitful if, as a team, you can model not knowing as much as possible. The truth is, if you are unsure about something, I can almost guarantee others will be unsure about it too. When you ask for an explanation, it does two things. One, it encourages whoever has that information to expand their thinking so everyone learns more. But two, it normalizes that not knowing. Every time you say, I don't know, everyone around you is more comfortable with saying it too. And if you're a manager, that power is doubled. Again, this comes up in quite a few studies of really successful neonatal teams, people, regardless of their position in the hierarchy, being able to ask those kinds of questions. So model not knowing. In short, not knowing needs to be seen as an opportunity. We live in this very chaotic world. You do a very complex, difficult job. Being led by not knowing and the curiosity around it allows you to explore that world and the people in it with much more flexibility and creates better healthcare outcomes as a result.